Ready? Thank you. As chair of this conference committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with House Rule 67 and the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. This is a committee of conference on House Bill 25. Please note that there is no physical location for members of the public to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that all members of the committee and select legislative staff have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through the Zoom electronic platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting by the Zoom platform or by telephone. All necessary access information has been made available in the House calendar and through the electronic calendar on the General Court website. The notice for this meeting complies with House rules and RSA 91-A. Anyone who has a problem accessing the meeting should call 271-3600 or email hcs@leg.state.nh.us. In the event that the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. I want to introduce the staff that are in the meeting assisting us. Brad Greenland, committee researcher. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start by taking roll call. All members are here. The Senate is here.
Yes.
And all the House members are here as delineated in the notice for this committee of conference. We're here because there were some major changes made by the Senate to House Bill 25 when it went through their process. There were some $25 million worth of projects that were taken out of the capital budget to be funded through ARPA or other federal funds. It is my understanding that all of these were funded at the fiscal meeting on June 8th. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so those are already taken care of, so we don't have to discuss the future of them. And then you put a similar amount, less $40,000 back in with projects that the House had heard about by and large as we were going through, but could not find the funding. There were a couple of things that House members have had a question about. It was a lot of the smaller projects from DAS and how they were selected. If anybody just kind of broad strokes on.
We just went on the priority list from the testimony that DAS had given us.
Okay, because we had not heard that because we didn't have anybody to do that, but there was some concern about that. And one that we did not hear about, well, two that we did not hear about, the BEA, the HHS, Bureau of Elderly and Adult Services for $4 million. And I know that they came in and briefed the Senate because I did see that.
So
I know it's a match for federal dollars.
yeah, it's a 2-to-1 match. Can't remember exactly what it was for, but it was obviously a system of some sort.
Yeah, it's the security of those rooms. Yeah.
What I heard was it's a 30-year-old system that they're trying to modernize.
So they give security for those rooms.
Okay. And then the Ports and Harbors Marine Terminal. That was a last minute ad, I believe.
What, do you mind?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah.
So what there are there is that there is a grant proposal, a grant possibility to do the work at the marine terminal that needs to be done. And we have to provide that match. And we can get, I think, up to $31 million.
Okay.
I've been down there to see that there's a couple of couple of issues there. One is that they're working on a resurfacing of the dock. But the other is that when they did the new bridge, because the new alignment of the bridge, they lost several hundred feet at the northern end of the terminal. And what this will let them do is to build that back in and to build out a little bit further down the southern end of it. And so they'll be able to handle much larger project. And this fits in really well with the turning basin project that's been authorized and with any other future
Okay.
project. that you should
And the
report.
turning basin
So
is
not
also
turning-
in House Bill 25, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and you'll see there's a note there too that says that if this grant is not successful, then that money could be used for other Department of Transportation
Yeah.
grant matches that are there as well. So
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Jack, you have a question?
Thank you. I noticed that this is under the DOT, the Market Street. Normally, we would put it under TDA, but there's a contingency that DOT can use it. I assume that's it's done that way.
Anybody, any of the other House members have questions about the projects being added? I think we're in agreement with the removal, well, the removals have already been funded, so there should not be a question about those, but about the additions. I do have one, and I think I've shared with you our concerns about some oversight on some of this. And the first one would be the Rochester Courthouse, which I know the governor had looked at, but did not fund because it wasn't the money to go forward with that. But right now, the Senate has added design money for it, but we don't know where it's going to go. We don't have a site for it. And we would like to put a footnote into the bill that says you can't do the design until we know where the court will be actually built. So it's sort of like building a house and having it all designed, then go look for the lot. So does the Senate have a problem with that?
No.
And then, and I know the House does not. And then we also had a footnote that we were talking about amongst the House, at least, of saying that two projects, the Rochester Courthouse, which we're going to design, and also the seed money for the digitization of the Supreme Court records, that the intent is to fund those in future bienniums once the initial work is done. Does saying intent work as far as the House and Senate are concerned? We've done it before with UNH and others that, you know, if things work out and we have the money, we'll do it. If not, it's still up to the next legislature to decide whether to fund it. Any problems with? No problem. This is going quickly. And then one other thing that we would like to add, the House would like to add, is a reporting requirement for all of these tens of billions of dollars of federal funds that are going out for capital projects. Currently, everything that is approved in House Bill 25 has to have a report back to Capital Budget Overview Committee, a statutory committee. The money that's being approved by Fiscal Committee for these types of capital projects, which were approved last, there is no report. And we'd like to see that in there just so that the general court knows where this money is going and when. Does the Senate? We agree. We agree. Mark.
Thank you.
Representative McConkey.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And that would include all the millions of dollars for the software upgrades.
Because they were pulled out. Yeah. We can
The
leave.
language should just reflect no problem with.
Yeah.
that report.
Yeah, okay. That,
If I could.
Yeah.
Concern was we had a lot of conversation on DES money and some of the other huge upgrades, and we just want to see that they tell us where they are from stage to
yeah,
stage,
okay.
and make sure we're not 2 years out or 4 years out, and we need a lot more money, or we haven't it. That's all it is.
Well, given past issues of
Yes.
whether systems have worked. I think it's a very good provision.
Well, and as we noticed as we were going through, about 28% of the House version of the capital budget was for information technology. We do have a concern that that money is going out and what it's being used for. Any of the other House, the House is in agreement with what we just talked about with those footnotes and reporting requirements. The Senate is.
Yes.
We will work on getting that amendment drafted and ready for signature. I would remind all the conferees that it is next Thursday is the sign off date by 4 p.m. Since we are the first and only one meeting today complete, it should be ready for sign off later today or latest on Monday. If you could do it, so I don't have to keep checking, I would appreciate it. And for the House members, you can call either the Republican or Democratic office as need be, and somebody can go down and sign off for you. And the Senate has their own process on that as well, I'm sure.
Well, you have
10 minutes. Any further questions or comments or things that we should add or not add or whatever? But I do appreciate the Senate agreeing to the committee conference so that we could get those couple things out in the open and also talk about the reporting requirement that I think that all of us agree needs to be done since it is all of our taxpayers' money.
Well, thanks again to you all. Did a great job.
Thank you,
Yeah,
John.
so-
The Senator appreciates the thoughtfulness of the House.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming. Thank you. And that completes this.